I'll take this time, like the first few minutes, to try to code the solution for the second day of the advent of code. And then, yeah, and then I will let you practice with another task, okay? So actually, just in case, advent of code has 2 days, every day has a problem, and has an advanced version of the problem or a harder version. So you can also code a second version if you want. It's not like complete, like it's not like much more advanced. It's just a bit different. So let me create a new Python file that we call AOC, and I will create a new test, a new set of tests that will be test day 2 or 5. Okay, cool. So let me actually zoom in here so that I can focus. Let me clean the input, close this, probably put this over here, close this, and close this here. So let me go to advent of code. Oops. Let me go to advent of code. So I will summarize what we have to do, okay? So in this problem, we receive a bunch of lists, okay? So here we have a list 7, 6, 4, 2, 1, then 1, 2, 7, 8, 9, and so on, all the way up to 1, 3, 6, 7, 9. This is an example of an input, okay? What we have to do is saying for every list whether it is safe or unsafe. And now I will define what safe means, okay? So a list is safe if, and only if, the numbers in the list are all increasing or all decreasing. So it means, for example, 7, 6, 4, 2, 1, it is decreasing. 1, 2, 7, 8, 9, it is decreasing. But for example, it is increasing. But for example, the list 1, 3, 2, 4, 5 is not decreasing nor increasing, right? Because from 3 to 2, you decrease, but from 2 to 4, you increase. So that means that that list is not safe. So the first criterion is that the list should be increasing or decreasing or decreasing. And the second criterion is that all the adjacent numbers have to differ by at least one, and at most 3. For instance, here you can see which one is it. Yeah, over here, this one, 976 to 1, the third list, it is decreasing, but it doesn't hold the second criterion because the difference between 6 and 2 is 4, which is more than 3. Okay, so the task is receiving a bunch of lists, and for every list, checking if it's safe or not. And what we have to print is how many are safe. You can see that from these lists, only the first one and the last one are safe. So, so the answer is 2. Okay, so let's code it up. Let me first copy this input so that I know that it will be my sample input here. Let me close the test for now, and let's just try to code this up. So I will first put a comment here to check what we have to do. Is like, given many lists, check how many count, how many are safe, and then a safe list. So a list is safe if it's increasing or decreasing, and each pair of adjacent numbers differ by at most 3 and at least 1, right? At least 1. Okay, so that's the definition, right? So first I will create a function to process the input. And what do I have to do? Well, I first have to read this file, input.txt, right? So I'll do this with open input.txt file.read, and I can either read all the lines, right? If I read all the lines, that will work, or I can also read the whole thing and split, for example, by \n. So if I read all the lines, okay, let me just go for every line in lines, print the representation of the line. So let me just do this, and I will call process input, okay, just to show you. So when I run it, you see how the first line is the first line with the \n character, and so on, right? Every line has the \n character except for the last one. So I could read them this way, or another way to read them, I just want to show you. I could do this. I could say f.read, and that reads the whole thing. And then I can split by break of line. Why? Because when I read here, let me print it. Oops. Because when I read here like this, notice what I got. I got a string that is the full input, where I have the break of line characters split in the lines. So I could do something like character, and that's another way of reading all the lines. So you can either do this or do this. There is obviously a difference if at the end of this one there is a break of line character, but that's not that important. So I'll just do it this way. So I read all my lines, and now what do I want to do? I want to take each line and I want to, well, I basically want to convert it into a list. So I can do something like all lists. I will create a list of lists, for example. And then for every line in my lines, I know that what I got, let me just print to show you. What I got is this. So what I got is this string here. So what do? I first strip it. After stripping it, I remove this break of line character. And then I want to convert it into a list. So I can do something like split again by spaces, right? If I split by spaces, I will get 7, 6, 4, 2, 1, and as numbers in a list. Then these numbers will be strings, so I have to map them into integers. So I do that like this. And then after doing that, what do I need? I need to convert this into a list again. And then I can append that into all my lists. So all lists append this. And at the end, I can return all the lists. So that's the function that processes all the inputs. And it will basically give me a list of lists. So let me just show you process input, and I will call this just input, for example, or like input lists. And now let me print input lists. Let me print input lists, okay? So when I run it, you see how I get the first list, the second list, and so on. I get all the lists that I want. And now I just need a function that checks if a list is safe or not. Because what I will do is going for every list in the input list, check if it's safe. If it's safe, I increase my counter by 1. Right? And at the end, I print the counter. So now I just need to check if a list is safe. So I will create a function here that receives a list, returns a Boolean. And now how do we want to check if a list is safe? Well, we want to check if it's increasing, if it's decreasing, and if the difference between every pair of numbers is between 1 and 3. So I will take the length of the list, and I will do this. If list at I minus list at I plus 1, if that difference is greater than 3, right? Or it's less than 1. If it's less than 1 or is greater than 3, we return false, right? It's not safe. As well, we want to check if it's increasing or decreasing. So I will do this. How do I check if a function is increasing or decreasing? I can do it in the same function here, but I will just do it in a different function just to be more explicit. So it's increasing. If it is a list, it returns a Boolean. It checks if it's increasing or decreasing, right? If it's increasing. So what we can do is going like this. Well, starts at 0, and then as we go to the length of the list, if I find a position in which the number at the position I is greater than the next number, then I know that it's greater than or equal. Then I know that it's not increasing, so I return false. Otherwise, I return true, right? So this is a way of checking that the list is increasing. You can check it in a different way. You can sort the list, for example, and then check that they are the same, or different things. So now I check that the difference between every pair of adjacent elements is less than 1. I will also create a function called is decreasing. Actually, yeah, let's create a function is decreasing. So how do I check if a function is decreasing? Well, I can implement a very similar logic to this one, but going backwards from n-1 till 0. But because I already have a way of checking if it's increasing, I can just check if the function reversed, it's yeah, I can just check if the function reversed is increasing, for example, right? So a function is decreasing if when you reverse it, you get an increasing function. So that's what I do. This one checks if it's increasing, this one checks if it's decreasing, and this one checks if it's safe. So to check if it's safe, I check first the differences, and then I check if it is increasing or it is decreasing, right? If it's increasing or decreasing and is safe, and I mean the differences here are always between 1 and 3, then I return true. Otherwise, I return false. So this is my code. You see, like here I have a code to process the input. I have a code to check if it's increasing, a code to check if it's decreasing, a code to check if it's safe. And here I check if it's safe, I increase the counter by 1 and I print the counter. For this input, the output was 2, like the last one and the first one are the only ones that are safe. So we should get something like, we should get 2 as the output, right? Let's see. Oh, I forgot something. But you see how here we have a bug, right? Like it's an infinite loop. That's because this while loop here, you see, this while loop here is saying, hey, as long as I don't reach the end of the list, as long as I don't reach the end of the list, check if if the current number is greater than or equal to the next number. And if it's not, if it is, return false. Otherwise, I know that that part is increasing. So I have to increase my counter to the next position, right? Like this I+1 is important over there. And now, yeah, I get as output 2, which is correct. And ideally, I will not do it for lack of time, but ideally, you would like to do this with tests. So you would like to test that you're processing the input correctly. You would like to test that this is increasing. So, you know, that this is working properly. That you would like to make a test for each function, right? But I will omit it now. So this is the code for this task. And actually, we can make sure that it works. So let me go to Advent of Code. And well, I already solved it like yesterday or before yesterday, but it tells me that the correct answer is 269. So if I take the whole input, I can get the input here. If I take the whole input and I put it, I should get 269. So let's check. Yeah, I get 269. So my code is working. Yep. But you know, you can test it properly if you want. Like you can. So yep, that's basically how you can do it. If you want, you can even put this in a different function. So you can do this like main. It's like put everything in main, for instance. Oops. Yeah, you can put everything in main and then call main, just to make the code a bit more structured. So yep, you can do something like that. And yeah, I mean, it's a bit of code, like it's more than many things that we have done, but so far there isn't anything hard in terms of like what you have to do. You just have to practice the coding. So now it's already 35. I think I will leave these 25 minutes for you to practice if you want on these problems. You can try to code the same task, for instance, this one. And I will be here in case you need my help in anything. So I will send you the link here so that you can try. Yep. So that's the second day, but there is a first day that already happened, and today is the third day. And yeah, I'll be here. I as well. I can share the code as well. I will do the following. I will commit these changes that I did, and I will add them into the repository. So I will do something like, yeah, I want to add this. I want to add this. I want to add this. And the input. I don't want the input. Yeah. So add examples of the advent of code. Commit, then push. And now I can go to the repository. I was not sharing the screen. Sorry. So I made the commits. I made some changes. And now if I show you the repository, I created this folder here called AOC example. And in there, you can see, for example, code for the advent of code for the second day of the advent of code, which is what I just wrote. I should have had advent of code 1, but I guess I forgot to commit it. So let me commit it as well. Mhm. Git restore stage txt. Yeah, so now you should have here as well the first day. Yeah, so I have here the code for the first day that I explained you earlier. You can see it. You can see here advent of code first day. Yep, and you can also see the code for the advent of code day 1, second day. So yeah, yeah, I'll leave you to practice here, and I'll be here.
And you're sorry, what we are doing now?
I said that I recommend practicing on the advent of code. I sent the link on the chat, in Zoom chat, and in the GitHub repository of the class, I put examples of the codes that I did before the break. So the first day, second day, like of the advent of code, and yeah, I want you to practice on the first and second day of the advent of code on the, I mean, either on the same tasks or in the second task. Like let me share the screen because it's hard to explain without this. So the advent of code, right? For example, this is the second day task. You have the task there, you have some story, you have some example input, you have exactly what they ask you, and yeah, they tell you the answer. I mean, if you haven't submitted, you have there like a text bar to type the answer. That answer you computed with your code, obviously. And then it has a part two, which is a variation of the first part. In this case, they say that they tolerate a single bad level, so you have to read what they mean. And this is the output in that case. Here at the end, you say, you can see that it says, get your puzzle input. So you can get the input and run the code in that input. And the output of that code is the one that you have to put there and submit. Yeah, and I coded the first part of the day two as well as the first part of the day one. That's what I did. And I
Okay.
want you to practice on the same parts as well as on the second parts. Yeah, I will not check or anything. It's just for you to practice. And if you have any questions, just let me know. And
Okay,
you see it
thank you.
because I got the feedback there was a lot of information today, so I don't want to overwhelm you with more information. Anyways, the other topic that I had planned for today, it's quite small, so it can be covered in any other class.
Okay, thank you. I can get your GitHub repository.
You can't
I
access.
wrote. Yes,
Right. Let me try once again. Let's see what it tells me. I will be sharing the screen just to show you. One sec. So, Andre, who is it? Andre.
Ильин. Uh, I, I link in the chat сейчас, please, just a moment.
Here, this one. Is it you? Is this you? Andrzej Ilin.
Yes, it's me. Yes.
Okay, so I just click on it. Look. Okay. And then I will put add Andre. And it tells me the user could not be added. I don't know why.
Mm.
Yep. And I don't really know why. Like I will try to add a friend of mine. Let me just to check that other people do work. So for example, this friend of mine here. Yeah, you see, he was added, but I for some reason I can't with you. I don't really know
Okay.
why.
Okay.
Maybe some privacy settings that you have. Well, let's check. Why a user can be added to a GitHub repo, a private GitHub repo.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
There is this discussion here. Let's check what's happening.
Uh,
Because your repository. Okay, I see. Yeah. Do you have your region to be Russia or something like that?
in Russia, yes.
And do you have your institution maybe? Is it? Well,
Sanctions.
yeah, I think it's about sanctions.
Okay.
Oh,
What about another students?
I mean, let me just, I don't know, like maybe they don't have that they are in Russia in their GitHub repo. So let me
Yeah,
just do,
for me it's
I
okay.
will,
You,
I
Александр, у тебя
will,
все хорошо? GitHub.
yes. You just added me, and I've already created a. No, I didn't create a new. Boom, boom, boom.
uh,
I
okay, I
thought
will just,
I
you know what?
thought.
I will just make it public and that's all. I don't, it's not a problem if I make it public.
Should I do a new account in the GitHub?
No, like I don't
No?
think, I think it's not needed. Let me quickly let me just change something and let's check if you have access.
Maybe
So
replace my country in settings.
maybe, but I already made. I just made it. I just made the repository public. Can you check now? 1 second. 1 second, because he's saying that it's moving. Okay, so can you check now if you have access? Let me just give you the link. Zoom here. Yeah, I put it on the Zoom chat.
Okay, thank you. Try to spread it, sorry. Oh,
Do you have access?
yes. I see your GitHub.
Yeah, you should see this, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so in here, okay, so yeah, in here, what you have to do is the following. You go here, you fork it, okay?
Okay, fork. After that,
Yeah, after that, you will have basically your
git.
own version of it. Then you clone it. So to clone it, if
Okay.
you do it through the terminal, you go here to SSH, you copy this,
Okay.
and then you type something like git clone, like git clone, and you paste that, okay? And but like not this link, but the one that you get when you clone it, when you clone your own repo, which should be the same, but changing an ERVS into with your name, with your username. And yeah, once you do it, you can push. So you can make push to the repository, and after you do pushes, you can do a pull request.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
it's a 4-step thing that you can easily Google how to do. You don't need to actually be proficient in Git to actually do it. So it's okay. So yeah, and then what I was saying is that what you can do now is try to practice the problems from Advent of Code. For example, try to solve the problems that I already solved and then compare the code to check, what you did different and so on. Here you can see, for instance, one of the solutions of mine. Yeah, you can see other solutions as well. Like you can see this other solution for the second problem. So yeah,
Okay.
yep.
Thank you, Angel.
Do we need to fork again? This
No,
report.
no. If you already did it, you work on
Yeah.
the fork you already did. Yeah.
Okay.
Just make sure that, because when you fork, sometimes you don't like I make changes and you fork before I made the changes, so you have to sync. When you open when you go to your repository, you can see if your fork is synced with mine, like it has the last version of whatever I did. If it's not, you can just do it. You can just click on some button over there, like it's a thing that prompts there, and it tells you, hey, just syncing, and it syncs with the changes. Okay. If it's not clear, we can start next session just covering some basics of Git and GitHub. But yeah, now I just want you to practice a little bit.
I think that it's unforked after you're updating the settings. I mean my repository, which I forked
Right.
before.
Oh, I
Yes,
see.
it could be.
Yeah. Because because I made it public. So when you make it public, I think it just creates a new one. Can you share your screen just to see what you see?
Yes, 1 second. Yes, this one.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Well, then I guess you can just delete this one. So you go to settings and you can delete it.
Yes, sure. How can I do
Yeah.
this?
Go to settings there. No. Settings is there.
This. Mm-hmm.
And then go all the way down. And then, yeah, but it says danger zone. Yeah. And in there you can say,
Delete.
yeah.
Delete it. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, you have to type all of that, but you can copy and paste.
Couldn't, or I could. Yes.
Yeah,
I
you can
forgot.
stop sharing if you want. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, now you can clone again. You can fork and clone again, right?
Uh-huh.
So you have to find the link again and so on.
Yes, okay. Uh-huh. I'll do it.
Yeah. Okay. You can stop sharing if you want.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Okay, it's already 5 to 6 in my time, so I guess we can finish the class. I will stay as usual a bit longer in case you have some questions or something, but yeah, feel free to leave.
Yes, I think it's okay. It's good.
Cool.
Yes, now it's forked. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so now you have to, clone and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Let me actually just to show you, stop there, no, don't share, keep it there. Let me just make a change so that everyone who is here can see what happens when, when a change happens. So I'll just take the readme and I'll just add some simple thing. So I'll just echo. Ah, okay, now let me update the readme. Yep. So now what happens? Can you go now back to the repository?
Mm-hmm. Yes, 1 second. Mm-hmm.
¿Ves ahí que dice, sorry, I was speaking Spanish because I received the message in Spanish. Do you see there that it says this branch is 1 commit ahead and 1 commit behind of a near VS, whatever. Ahead is because you made a change and behind is because I made a change. So if you click on, yeah, you see that there is a button that says sync fork.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can say update branch, for example. And now it tells you it is 2 commits ahead, right? Because of change that you did. And now my change in a way kind of like got after your change. So it seems like two changes. Clear?
Yes.
Yep. So now just to show you how you can do pull requests, you can go to where it says fork from a near VS. Do you see it's in small font?
This one.
Yeah, click on it. And now go into pull requests. Yeah. And now you can say new pull requests in the green button, right there. And then in there, yeah, wait, what it says. Okay, so it says base and compare. I'm sorry, base and compare. So where it says compare, so no, like a bit upper, a bit
Mm.
upper.
Yes.
Yeah. In there, you see it says base main arrow compare main, right? Like you can click on compare main. Do you see it? Let me wait 1 second. I think I can somehow.
This one. This example is comparison.
No. You see where it says create pull requests?
Great. Yeah.
String. The button right above it.
No, I didn't see it.
Yeah, there, not the button, the frame, that frame. Yeah.
Frame.
There. Yeah, and in there you can basically. No, wait 1 second. Oh, okay. Go back. Go to your repository. I forgot. I actually forgot. Go to your repository. Yeah. This one.
This one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In there you can go to yep. So so you here have the fork of your repo of my repo into your repo, right? And now what you do, for example, is commit, like make the changes that you did in yours, putting them into mine. That's what you call a pull request. In other places, you call a merge request. And in here, I always forget where you can do it because in different places you do it in different ways. So in here, you can do it in 2 ways. Where it says contribute, right to the left of sync fork, it says contribute, right? Click on it. And yeah, and it tells you open pull request.
Open.
So now you can open a pull request there. And yeah, and you can title it. You can, for example, put, I don't know, sample change or, whatever. And I will see that you are requesting adding something on my repository. Yeah, you can click on create pull request. Yep. Okay. So now, yeah, it checks that if it can merge automatically or something, and leave it there. Now, stop sharing. I will share mine just to show you. And now, if I go here and I go to my repository, I can open pull requests. And as you see here, I see your pull request opened by Alexander, and the title is sample one, right? So I can open it and I can merge it and approve it as well. I just realized, and that's all. You do what you did, and in my case, I approve it. And if I see that you are having some mistake or something, I can give you comment here. I can tell you, hey, forgot this or do it in this other way. And yeah, and you can even keep a conversation here as well. Let me actually go here quickly and for like protect the main branch from how do I do it? I even forgot now. Protect the main branch to be committed. So like I don't want you to be able to protect to be able to do a pull request and merge them without my approval. I will do it on my own. But yeah, that's all. Feel free to yep. See you next week.
Gracias.
De
Bye.
nada. Paca.
Пока.
And yeah, questions. After fork and in my terminal, I made just a moment git clone this repository, yes, and after that I git add all, and what I do next, can I get pull? Yes,
No, you have to push first.
push, yes,
Okay,
okay.
so yeah, you have to push first. I will actually, it seems that I have to do it. So I will, in the next session on Tuesday, 10th of December, I will start with like covering Git, like basics of Git and how to do stuff with GitHub as well. Yep, just in case. But yeah, so you have basically, you have cloning is like downloading your repository, okay? Then you have pooling, which is like bringing down, like download the latest changes. So if there are changes in your remote repository, git pull, what it does is just bringing those changes into your local repository. Okay, then push.
Okay. Push it's from out my local repository. Git pull I get in my local. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. And then you have to do more or less the same thing, but between your fork and my repository. Clear?
Okay.
So you have basically three. You have my repository, your fork, and your local version of your repository, right? Like, okay, let me say it again. Let me say it again. So there is my repository, and then you
Yes.
create a fork, right? Like a copy.
Yes. Yes.
Well, from that copy that you create, you have two things. You have the remote one, the one that you see there in GitHub, and the local one, the one that you see in your computer, right?
Yes.
So between the local one and the remote one, you do pulling and pushing, right?
Yes.
Then from the remote one that you have, like your copy, your fork, and mine, like yours is a fork of mine, you also do a very similar behavior. You don't do it through the terminal, you do it in the website, but still is but that's what you do. Like more on that next week.
After push,
Yep. After pushing,
you get in your fork, yes, too?
but when you push, it's on your fork, not in mine. Okay.
Okay.
So then you have to go there and say, okay, I want to merge it into mine. Okay, but that's all.
Okay.
Okay. I will cover it next week as well. Like as if we hadn't covered it. So I will go into some details about that. So it will be clear next week. See you next time.
Okay. Thank you.